Hello, everybody. I'm Paul Pedron, one of the product managers for ZenWorks. Happy to be here. I am ready to get started with the ZENcast. I appreciate you understanding that I was on the road last time, so I wasn't able to do a ZENcast. But I visited a lot of you, got a lot of feedback and input on ZENcast and what you'd like to see. And so I'm looking forward to making some of those changes for you. Look, we're already in March. This is the 4th year anniversary of ZENcast. So I appreciate everybody out there that has contributed and given feedback on this so that we make this forum about what you can do better with your ZenWorks product. I'm going to go ahead and put the PDF in the chat. So if you go ahead and log into chat, you can get that and follow along. Or if you're watching this recording, you'll see it in the description of the ZENcast itself. So we're talking about ZSD 24.1 details and upgrade. It was just released about 20 days ago, I believe, and we're gonna discuss some details about that. The next ZENcast will be ZCM with anti-malware. We haven't done anti-malware yet, but we're gonna have a guest on, Darren Vandenbos, who's going to give us a little bit of a demo, give some use cases and so forth for it, so that we can get an idea of the ZCM anti-malware. You may ask, what is ZENcast Live? ZENcast Live is basically for anybody interested in ZENcast or even management of devices, right? Being able to manage those devices, manage any device on the system so that you can maintain control, keep your policies up, get your things, your devices updated and so forth, and basically tracking and assets. So ZenWorks is a broad range of products, policies, and tools that allows you to do that. And today we're going to be covering ZenWorks Service Desk, which is a service desk tool that does tie into other products like ZCM. We meet the first and third Tuesday of every month, 9 o'clock Mountain Time. And if you're looking for different recordings and so forth, we have some of those available out on the YouTube channel, support and training YouTube channel. You can see we're live here. We'll go ahead, but you can go down and see all the different open text products, and you come up to, sorry, passed it up, IM&G, and here we are. Here's all the ZENcasts. If they're related to these other products, we'll go ahead and put them in there as well, but you can find them out here. I can, oh, wait a minute, you're not seeing my other screen. Hang on a second. There we are. Let me get my view off of here. Yep, there we go. Okay, so ZENcast Live is for anybody managing devices. You can go out here and see all the previous 4 years of ZENcast, most of them still relatable because the product is growing and the features keep growing, and those features that we've recorded on still exist pretty much. A little bit of house cleaning. Log into YouTube and you'll be able to chat with us live. You can subscribe to notifications. You can see when we're online and so forth. Please provide feedbacks, even if you're watching these recordings. Put in comments, likes, unlikes, so that we can make sure we're keeping to what you need for managing devices. Okay, the best viewing again is Auto 720p 60, and the description, check it if you're watching the recording or go back to it later and you'll get the links that I also have in the PDF, which I put in the chat window for today's live broadcast. Okay. All right, let's move on. Tidbits and crumbs. This is a bunch of different TIDs that are recent. It's updated about a week ago, not this week so much, but if they apply to you, you could go directly to these particular technical information documents, right? Just by clicking the link. These also are in that PDF, so you'll have it if you download that PDF. If they pertain to you, UAM patches, having a home widget, those types of things, it comes in handy to be able to just review. But these are the latest, right? There's a lot out there you could search on. Okay. A little bit of crumbs. Monthly webinar topics. We do have monthly webinar topics aside from ZENcast so that you can go out there and see what's going on with the product. We have ZenWorks 2020 Update 3, things like inventory reporting, design and best practices, and so forth. So you can see those webinars, and then you also have the ZENcast as a resource. The ZSD blog, Road to Excellence, How Service Desk Transform Road Network Management, is out there. It's a new blog out there as of about 3 weeks ago, and so that's fairly new as well. And then ZenWorks administration course is going on this week in Germany. You could register if you want more details about another one. Feel free to go into the register and email us at zen@opentext.com if you're looking for a ZenWorks administration course. Okay, we're just now getting it formulated. This is the first one. We're testing it, seeing if it's fitting, and we're going to be going ahead and modifying it as we go. It'll obviously be evolving. Okay, so you can look forward to that soon. Also, did you know that the 2020 Update 3 lifecycle ended January 31st? So if you go out to the lifecycle page, you can see all our product dates and when they're supported through, and you'll be able to identify what you need to do for getting to the latest version by going to the documentation. So if we go to ZenWorks, we can go to Configuration Management 2020, and we can see that Update 3 ended, and then 23.3 will end in August, but we will have 24.1 out there by then, or 24.2. Okay. You can check other ones as well, Service Desk and so forth. All right. The other thing is the old patch feed, the ZPM. If you're using patch, one thing to be certain of, patch releases will end for the old patch release, the old patch management system, May 31st, 2024. So if you're on the legacy feed, update to the latest. And you really, it's that started, I think, in Update 3. But yeah, Update 3 here. So make sure you migrate. It's very important that you get that done so you don't get cut off from any of your patches and then you're panicking trying to get your patches out. All right. So there's some details out there with that particular link. And then we have the Windows primary end of life. What's going on? Oh, this one doesn't look like it. Yeah, end of support. So we will have, it looks like this link has been, there it is. Gives you some details why support on Windows Server is ending and what platforms are your options and so forth. Okay. There is support for version 23.4 through November 2026, which is the last version you can have a Windows primary in your zone. Okay. And then we're working on a primary server migration tool to migrate to an appliance. It should be out in this next quarter. All right. Perfect. Let's do a little recap. We did some ZCM support logging last time. It was pretty surface level, and I appreciate me being out to visit some of you customers this last 2 weeks. Really helped me narrow down what I need to do with some of these ZENcasts, as I mentioned earlier, and getting a little more detail, doing a little more troubleshooting and so forth. Now, I just got back last night, so I had this pretty much set up for the ZSD, and we're going to go through the ZSD upgrade today, but we'll get into more depth as we go through these ZENcasts as we go forward. Okay, there is a master logging reference that's out there, so this should be, if you have ZCM, this should be on your favorites list just so that you have access to these particular TIDs. And basically it depends on what component you're working on, but if you select one, you could then see which remote management docs, how to collect logs in this particular case, so that you can talk to support or troubleshoot it yourself dynamically. Okay. And then how to enable debug logging is another really, really good one. And it goes back to that master reference log, but does this one too? Let's see. 172. Yeah, how to enable debug logging. So I just have multiples in here. So be sure to check that out. Have this bookmark so that you can get to it easily when you're troubleshooting some of your things, whether it's for the agent, whether it's for the server, and so forth. All right. Today's agenda, we're going to cover ZSD 24.1. It was released about 20 days ago. New enhancements and features, side-by-side upgrade process. We're going to go through that demonstration. We're going to look for our resources for the upgrade, SLD download, the image file, the prereq file, and the registration key, because we're going to re-register to the new channel. Okay, and I'm going to throw up a quick presentation slide just to show you what we're doing with as you go from version to version. So in this particular case, you would go to these major releases on a side-by-side, meaning you prop up a new appliance. And you would have to, in order, if you were at 8.1 to get to 24.1, you'd have to prop up an 8.3 and then prop up a 24.1. You don't have to do the other ones in between. Okay, these minors you don't have to do. But the majors you do, because we do major back-end upgrades on certain components. So that's kind of what we're looking at. Now, if you're on one of the latest ones, like 8.3x or 23.3, 23.4, you can go directly to 24.1. So from 23.3, you can go directly. You can 23.4, you can go directly. Now, you could go to each one of these if you want, if you're testing and you're not ready to go to 24.1. But just so you know, if you're on 8.3x and 23x, you can go directly to. All right. Some of this system upgrade stuff, as far as side-by-side versus in-place upgrade. So a side-by-side is where you prop up another device and then you migrate, and basically that will assume the identity of your older version and bring it current. Okay, it's done on major releases. You download a prerequisite file, VM release, and new online update channel. There's a new online update channel. The same key that's in your SLD still applies. Okay, it's a migration process. We'll go through this today. So the in-place is real easy. Use the online update tile and you're good to go. Now, when you do go use the online update tile and you're going, let's say, from 23.3 to 23.4 minor version, you cannot separate the security patches from the features. You will get both all rolled up into 23.4. Okay, so if you wanted to stay on 23.3, and you'd have to, in order to get security patches, you'd have to roll up to 23.4. Okay, and that's every month. We have a quarterly cadence on that, as you know. Okay, this kind of sums it up here. You have long-term support on the .4 releases. Okay, and then these are major upgrades for the .1 releases and what you get. Let's go over the side-by-side that we're going to do today. So for instance, we got a 23.4 box, and you're registered to the online update channel, right? You're getting all your security fixes, and you want to go to 24.1. You're going to go ahead and run the prerequisite file manually, which we'll do. Okay, that prepares the VA storage disk, the second disk on the server, for the new version, so it can migrate and assume the identity of this device. Okay. Once you run that prereq file, you power down ZSD, your original production server, and then you copy the VA storage to the new VM, which is 24.1. You'll bring it in. You'll bring 24.1 in. Don't power it up. You'll go ahead and copy the disk over as a second disk, and then you'll go through finish the upgrade. It'll see the VA storage, do the install and upgrade processes, and then basically you'll need to register to the new 24.1. This should be 24.1 channel. Okay, through and then you could do online updates at that point. Okay, so that's how that rolls. I think we're done with that. let's go ahead and apply that. Let's see how we can apply that. Let me see where my... So here we are with my 23.4 service desk. You can see here that our licenses show version 23.4. We're going to go ahead and upgrade this to 24.1. Okay, we're going to do a live upgrade here. So when you go out to SLD, under your licenses, you can get your update channel key, because you're going to register the same key you've always had to the new channel so that you can get the 24.x security patches and so forth. And then you're also going to go over to your downloads and download your 24.1 version. Oh, it timed me out. Let's go. Okay. And we'll go to downloads. Oh, I need to put everything back in. So, email address. Come on. Okay. And again, we're in SLD as, for instance, as a customer. And we'll go to downloads. Select your product, 24.1, and you have your downloads here. Now you'll notice that there's a prereq, and then you have, depending on what hypervisor you have, and you'll go ahead and download those. Okay? We can go on over to my ESX box, and we can go ahead and select my, let's do this. We can see that we're 23.4. If you look right in here, there's version 23.4, and you can see we're on /12 SP5. Okay, we're going to upgrade that. All right, so the first thing we want to do is copy over in WinSCP. If we look at WinSCP, we can see we've copied over the service desk prereq, and that's good to go now. We're ready to run that, so let's go ahead and run that. So I'm in. Let's go to CD etc temp RPM minus IHV service prereq for 24.1. Now this is on your production server 23.4 server, 23x server, 8.x server, and it's preparing. Once that's set, which runs fairly quickly, basically it's doing a quick backup and copying some of the configuration stuff. We're going to go ahead and power this down. So we can go over to, we can go here and do system CTL service desk stop service desk. Okay, and that's done. Let me go ahead and close this out. We don't need this now. We can close this out. Oh, we need the ESX box. That's right. Okay. So now this is obviously going to shut down. Let me go ahead and do an init 0. And then that will shut it down. You want to shut down because the other is going to assume the same IP and you want to be able to get to it, obviously. Okay. As that's shutting down, we're going to go ahead and start a new virtual machine. We're going to create a new machine from an OVA because Service Desk is a appliance only. So we're going to call it ZSD 24.1, and then we'll click for the files, and I have the file out here, 24.1. Okay, so this is the appliance file I downloaded. When you do download, make sure you double check some. We're going to put it on the data store 1, and we're not going to automatically power it on. Okay, we just want it to come in and be able to be present, because we're going to attach that second drive to it. Okay, now while that's happening, I grab a piece of paper here, and we are going to go ahead and look on our 8.7 ZSD 23.4 box, or yeah, 23.4 box. It has 2 storage disks. Okay, if we look at the second disk, we could see it's here. We have to copy this disk. Okay, so I'm just going to take a quick snippet. New there, just so I know where it is. All right, very good. It's not completed yet. So you want to obviously make sure it's in your system before you fire it up. So we're going to go to virtual machines, more VMs, and we should see, once it's complete, ZSD 24.1. We'll wait for that to complete. Should be any second now. Otherwise, very step by step. It's in the upgrade guide, so you can follow along if you have a different hypervisor, or you need to back up. Do check the guides. I'm going through a very quick demonstration, but remember, you have some configuration files you may have customized, or support you're running through with support. You want to make sure you save those customization files and put them back in the 24.1 so that you can carry on with whatever you're doing. For instance, logging, you can set your archive logging to more than just 3 archives, right? 2 archives in the one that's running now. You can set it to 5 or 10 if you need more logging. So you want to be able to have those back in your system. The prereq file doesn't back up everything. It backs up your customizations, your colors, your branding, that type of stuff. But if you get real detailed into the files, some of them are not kept up, okay, or backed up. So you want to do those, and the documentation will tell you exactly which ones those are. Okay. Same with the ZSD upgrade cookbook. Let me see. Yeah, this one here. So this is the upgrade cookbook. Gives you some details, but if you go further, this is the steps we're going to be doing today. We saw some of these. Now these are additional slides to tell you where, one of them is where your customization files are. Okay, and there's other TIDs out there too that do that. All right, so now that we have this ready to go, we're going to go ahead and go to our virtual machines. Sorry, we're going to go to our host, and we're going to do data browser. So we'll go manage. Why am I having a hard time remembering where that is? Go to, oh, storage, sorry. We're going to go to data store browser. And remember, we had that data store 1, and we go to 87, 83 idle. And if we look for our 87.004.6, let's find the one we want. 3.4, is that it? Let's see, 87 ZSD 8.itil_1 VMDK. So we're going to copy this, and we're going to go to our ZSD 24.1, nope, that one, and paste. Okay, and it's going to copy that volume over there. Then we're going to attach it to our 24.1. So we'll give that a minute as well. All right, while we're here and we're waiting, because this may take a minute or two, we're going to go ahead into the forums, as long as you're aware of the forums that we have out there for your use. This is a service desk forum, but we actually have all of the ZenWorks suite forums available to you, depending on the product you're using within the suite. And you can pick ZCM, you can pick patch management, and you're able to do, so for instance, if you pick configuration management, you could then do discussions, see what discussions are going on between your peers and through with support, because we monitor these. Support monitors these and the PMs monitor these. And then ideas exchange, if you have ideas, or if you see an idea that looks good in here, vote on it so that you can, it gets to a higher level and visibility. There's tips and news and events. And the other thing that's fairly important, there's obviously the portfolio blogs of the different products, right? But if we went to, let's go to ZSD community. If we go to version currency, this tells you the latest version that's available, as well as the lookbook. So ZCM has this as well. All the products here have this. So you can actually get a comparison chart, see which features are new, whether you really need that. If you're not going to be using those features, maybe you want to hold off until the next upgrade. Upgrade demonstration, which we're doing today, and other details within. So you could get some information about the product itself. Okay, so that's very handy to have. And again, like I said, it's in all of the ZenWorks products. If you just click on the thing over here, you'll see those resources for you. Okay, I think it's done. So let's go back. It is done. So let's go ahead, and now that we've created ZSD 24.1, copied in the new disk, we need to add the disk. So we're going to go to Actions. We're going to go ahead and edit settings. We're going to go to Add a hard disk, an existing, and we're going to go to ZSD 24.1 and select the disk we copied and save. Now we're ready to go through the install. Now, one thing to realize is if the install fails on this 24.1, the nice thing is, and you don't have time to troubleshoot and it's just not working right, you can fall back to your ZSD 8.3 and reschedule that 24.1 involving support and so forth. All right, so that's a nice fallback for the appliances. We're going to go ahead and start this. And it's going to fire up the new appliance, which means it's going to ask us for passwords for the root. It's going to ask us for passwords for SD admin. And then it's going to go out there and look for that disk. If it doesn't find the disk, it'll say, by the way, you need to power down because the disk isn't here. Okay, so be aware that it will prompt you along the way, and we're coming up now. As we come up, we'll see the YouTube channel. I think we already went through this with one of the other links. This is the Service Desk YouTube channel. You could see the what's new and different things about the product itself. Analyzing service logs and ZSD configuration, MS Modern authentication or OAuth authentication. So there's different ones in here that you can see. There is a digital learning. If you go into digital learning and log in, you can search on view courses. There is a Service Desk one. It's fairly old, and we're trying to revive these old ones, but we can go ahead and it's still out there, and it's still, I looked it over, it's still fairly good on what it's trying to give us. Where's my search? It's at the top. Search. I put in Service Desk, and I'm going to select Service Desk Management. Oh, yeah, I was logged in earlier, so it timed me out. So let's go Service Desk. Oh, there's the courses. So Service Desk, Service Management Digital. Okay, so that's available out there as well. Let's go back over to It's still initializing the appliance. It should be just about there now. And then the ideas exchange, we talked a little bit about that already. And then the ZSD lookbook we looked at as well. Now there is a 24.1 product README and release guide. So the README gives you a list of all the different features and so forth. And as it goes through the upgrade, we'll cover some of those. Here's the password. So we're back. We booted it up. We now have to put in passwords for our root and our SD admin. We'll hit OK. As long as they match, it'll continue. Quickly, it'll automatically assume the same IP. I did not press enter or anything. It saw that from that prereq file that we copied to the second disk, and now it's coming up with the configuration that it's looking for. So we have on this one, we have a Postgres database, and so it's an internal embedded database. So we'll see what happens as it goes to upgrade. Now, one thing about going from 23x to 24x by doing a new appliance, we have a later version of Postgres 15.5 going on in this one. Okay. So we're going to wait for this to come on up. While we're doing that, it may take a little bit to finalize this. So I'm going to bring up the Service Desk 24.1 release, and we'll let that run in the background there as it starts up. So we've done a few things. We did some technical upkeep, which we do every quarter really with security updates and channel updates. We've done some Tomcat, JDK, and security patches. We've upgraded the embedded Postgres database to 15.5. The big lift on this one was reporting. Reporting's been neglected a little bit. We haven't added new reports. We now have reports that can have wider date ranges, and you can report on more of the requests, whether they're combined, and I'll show you that in a little bit. Let's go back here. We're going to go to root, and we're going to log in, and we're going to go and do cat etc *-release, and you can see now we're at 24.1. Okay, let's go over to our 24.1, our IP address for our service desk. It's obviously logged out, but it's going to give you this. The first time going in after you do the upgrade, it's now going to upgrade the schema. And you can see it's doing its updates, and it has successfully upgraded 24.1. Again, as I mentioned, if it fails here and you just don't have time to troubleshoot, you can then fall back on your 8.3 box or your 23x box, still continue working with Service Desk, reschedule, make sure support's involved, and keep going to get that resolved. But we're going to go ahead and hit close. So the very first time going to the technician portal, you'll get this application set up. All right. And now we're back into our Service Desk, and I'll just log in as admin and show you that we are at licenses 24.1. So it's really that simple. A lot of times what I'll mention to when I was in support, I'll mention to customers that the minor upgrades give about an hour, and that'll give you enough time if you have to adjust, and if you missed getting a phone number or something from your database person, or if you miss getting any details, an hour is more than enough for an online update. But the side-by-side update, give 2 hours. But that's still, you can see I did mine fairly quickly, and it came out just fine. Again, if you have any questions, comments, you can always email zen@opentext.com. But let's go ahead and go through some of these features that we have now. Again, we did a lot of reporting. So for instance, we removed the date restrictions. We're giving it more space to the view. So after you run that report, if it's more columns, then it'll use that space off to the right. It's not an overhaul of the reporting. That'll be coming next year, but it is a update. We did more than 30 to 40 reports. Okay. And so if we look at these in a step-by-step, we did the technical upkeep, as we mentioned. We copied the VA storage. We did all the upgrades, and we're basically successfully upgraded. So that shows it's a side-by-side. Some of the details here, I don't know, that seems fairly small. Let me go and zoom in. There we go. Good. So the date restrictions you used to be able to run reports for a day, and you could put in up to 3 days on the trend. Now you can do 5 to 28 days. Okay. Minimum 5, up to 28. And then 3 days is 15 to 60. Now you could do a KPI for over 2 years. All right. So this way you can say, am I doing better last year, or what's my trend from 2022 to 2023 to 2024? Those types of things. Okay. So those have been a big release as far as getting those opened up so that you can see more. Okay, so here we and this is small. Hang on. Let's see if I can go any bigger. A little bigger. But basically I ran this report just to see the additional white space. Typically it would end right here and crunch everything up. Now the white space goes farther. Okay. And then if you're printing it as a PDF, you'll get this, and if it goes beyond I think it's 10 columns, it'll add the other columns down below. So you have that. Now this is the big factor right here. Basically, you could do all requests. KPIs typically were for service request summary, incident summary, problem summary, or change summary. All of these down here, but they're just one type of request. Now we have all request summary, which means you can check your workload of a technician that has incidents and service requests or change requests. So you could see the full load of that technician, that team, or whatever organization, whatever you're looking for. Okay. So here's all processes, being able to check all processes, not just service or incident, problem, or change. And within those, these are all the reports you now have in all processes. So you can see all the processes, requests by team, and that would be service requests, incidents, problems, and change all in one. All right. So that should be helpful to strategize the workload for your technicians or your teams, being able to see what's going on with your organization and its capacity and what you need to do to adjust those. Again, all processes by org unit has been added. So you have all of these as well. So this is the primary, is all processes. And then you have requests by org unit, but all these different things by org unit, even request rooms by org unit, for if there's some facilities work that needs to be done, as well as a down machine in the lab, you could see all of those all in one ticket. Okay. The next is these three that were added to the technician area of reporting. And this was team requests by technician, requests active and closed. Okay, this is all requests, right? And then, of course, knowledge base, we went a step further and went to the knowledge base articles. Before you could do it by their category. Now you could do it by all. Okay, so you could see all the different ones. You don't have to select one and try and figure out how many each one of these has. You can do all categories and see those. And here's the results of that. Maybe I can get a little bigger. I don't know. Okay, so you can see how many articles you have of each one of these categories. All right. The other reporting is Report Builder. So one is the canned reports. Second, now you can do your custom reports in Report Builder with all request types. Okay, all processes and all request type as an available entity. Now we're getting into some of the features besides reporting, which is the group quick call. And this is so large, it's doing funny things with my titles. But the technician portal group quick call is displayed. So now in the technician portal, if they select a quick call template, and I'm going to do real big, a quick call template, sorry, they can get the group quick calls as well. And you could sort by that column, you can sort by the name and so forth. But now they have the ability to create a group quick call within the technician portal. Before they would have to go to their customer portal and do it there. So it follows all the group template rules, the components, the creation, and so forth. All the rules are still valid, but you can now do that, which is helpful for the technicians. The other things is notes, date and time spent information, along with an audit report. So we put time spent at the very top of the ticket, if it's designated. I'm sorry, not at the top of the ticket, at the top of the note. All right, so there's a summary there for that particular note, how long it took. There's also a summary when you do a print preview, total time spent, which adds this column up, and this column is new as well. All right, so if you do a print preview, you could see everything that's done. For instance, if you have to bill on this particular ticket, you could see all the time spent and cumulative time. Use that as a printout if you needed to. There's also another new request, which this is really bad. I guess if I edited this. Oh, because I have it in read format. Let me take it out of read format. Maybe I can go bigger now. I can do this. So show time spent is a new privilege. And when you say show time spent, the customer can see time spent in the ticket. So again, this is the customer area, the customer portal privilege. Show time spent, yes, allows to see this column. And by default, it's off, but we've had some requests where they want it on. So that gives you a little bit better idea of where we're going with that. Now, we talked a little bit about SLA reset last time, or last revision. We added the SLA reset, which is, or allow reopen. Okay, so we have allow reopen last version, actually 2 versions ago. But when you reopened, the SLA just picked up where it left off. So you'd have false information on how long it took for that ticket. All right, so we put in an SLA reset. And that SLA reset means it'll clear it out. It'll clear and reset all the SLA information. And the use on this is a customer gets a fix, he puts it in, he closes the ticket, and it really didn't fix it. So a week later, he's doing the same feature and he realizes it's not fixed. He can reopen this call now with the reopen. And if you're using SLA, the SLA will be reset so that it can restart the clock to 0. Okay. Now the one thing is the audit on this particular ticket, if they reopen it and SLA is reset, the audit contains all the information of what was previously done. So it's not end times. So it's not a complete, you lose all that information. All right. You don't lose any information by looking at the audit. All right, and then we have item print, includes description and notes. So we have descriptions and notes. If you go into a particular item, this is a laser jet, for instance, and we put in some notes, some description here, and we put in some notes here. You can see them here, and different things that might have happened on this particular box, things to look out for, or maybe it needs a particular dongle or something like that. So those weren't being printed out. Now they're being printed out. We could see them here. Okay, so we have the description, we have the notes. So when if you have somebody, for instance, taking care of all your printers, a third party taking care of your printers, they could print out the item, this particular ticket, and see those different details about the item itself. Not so much the request, but the item itself. All right. We did some minor things. We catch these, and you guys suggest these things as we're growing through. In this particular one, the knowledge base item category wasn't filtered. So this particular part of the knowledge base was not filtered as alphabetically. So it's really hard. You look through here and you go, oh no, it's actually audit information or something, and you see A and then D, and you go, it's not there. Why don't I see it? Well, because it's probably at the bottom. All right. So we've changed that and modified it so that these are all alphabetical. All right. And then again, some more cosmetic things. Under the configure multi-factor authentication, we didn't have a demonstration on that. So we included that link so that you could go out to YouTube and see that. Those are the new features in 24.1. I hope it's available to you and you like those and you're able to utilize those. I think the reporting is a big one. If you haven't used reporting in ZSD, we've enhanced those canned reports quite drastically. So hopefully those will come in handy for you. But some of the others as well. Okay. You could see this out on the service desk page under the README. You could see the different service desk reports and different things that we have included in this new release, as well as out on the YouTube channel. We have the what's new video that you could see. All right. So that goes into a little bit of detail as well. And if you're looking to upgrade, there's the upgrade. We do have, I think our machine is upgraded. So yeah, 24.1. So we're good to go here. We can sign out. Okay, you can see all the branding came over and with it. So we're all good there. Customer portal. We can go over there and log in as Alex if we wanted to. Okay, my session almost timed out. That's a simple upgrade. You could then decommission this box or hang on to it until you find everything you needed in 24.1. But everything, since you copied that volume from this particular machine to this one, you don't really have to worry about hanging on to it if you don't need to. All right. The one thing is if you're doing backups, make sure, and you have an external database, to make sure you back up the external database at the same time. And remember which version it was on when it was backed up, because you don't want to fall back onto your ZSD 23.4 with a 24.1 upgraded database, right? So just those regular precautionary things that we've talked about before and are in the documentation. We have a schedule for the upcoming ZENcast Lives, March 19th, ZCM anti-malware. We're bringing Darren Vandenbos aboard to show us and demo ZCM anti-malware. We haven't done anti-malware on here yet. So we're bringing him on so that he could give us some clues and details about that. So that's on the 19th. The next in April, we're going to more ZCM bundle details. Maybe we'll get into PowerShell scripts. That was suggested this last time when I was away. So there's some good stuff in here that was suggested. And then if we look at hybrid workspaces use cases, you may own hybrid workspaces but not really know what it is. So we're going to cover some things about how you can use hybrid workspaces as an additional tool for the infrastructure you've already set up, right? The other things are register for the monthly live cast. There are new links. We went to WebEx. I'm sorry, we went from WebEx. We went to WebEx. So make sure you sign up for these. Robin Redgrave does Filer GroupWise and OES first, second, and fourth Thursday, and then we do a ZenWorks on the third Thursday. So if you have these products, you have something each week if you wanted to get into a particular webinar, but you can sign up here. All right. Again, like what you see, don't like what you see, email us at zen@opentext.com. The other thing to note is the ZENcast live schedule is out here, and you can see what we're doing, what's coming up. Anti-malware is the next one, bundle details and so forth. Other things that we've done within the ZENcast, as well as going directly to these that we've done in the past. There's links to all the recordings for the past 4 years. Okay, so feel free to check that out as well. We're going to cover some of the ZenWorks suite versions now. And again, if there's any questions, please shout them out in chat. I'm monitoring that as we go just to see if there's any questions. But ZCM 23.4 is currently out. There's links here. Again, you have that PDF in the chat. Documentation, last driver update was July 2023. I'll try and find out when the next one is. ZCM, actually, this is old. ZCM March came out, I believe. So we're good there. March PRU. And again, if you have an appliance, security updates every quarter are coming out for all the appliances that we have. All right. Again, 24.1, there's an announcement blog. There's a what's new README. There's an upgrade cookbook. And currently we're on Hybrid Workspaces 23.11 was released. So you can see some information here. And we're at ZRS 8.1.2. Okay. This says 8.1.1, but then when you go into the online updates, it updates you to 8.1.2. Very good. Futures, ZCM 24.2 coming out June, July. ZCM CE, what is CE? Cloud Edition. Now, one thing to note, ZCM CE is just an expansion on the ZenWorks suite. Okay. Some people are looking for ZCM in the cloud only. So we are also developing towards a cloud edition, which does not impact ZCM on-prem at all. We are still continuing for the on-prem ZCM. That is not going away. All right. So again, ZCM CE is an extension of the ZenWorks portfolio. All right. ZSD 24.2 will be out in April, and Hybrid Workspaces 23.11 was just released. So I need to update that particular version. Okay. Again, links to the communities. We went through a few of them today with schedules and webinars and recordings. Upcoming, there's a ZenWorks training admin course. I already mentioned that. Webinar schedule. ZenWorks webinars. There will be, as ZenWorks CE gets formulated and we have a prototype, but once we get it released, you'll start seeing more and more about it with the global webinar. All right. And then Open Text Developer Conference happened, I think February. You don't need to register, but if you do go to the registration, you can see some of those presentations. That's why I left it there. Okay. So, and other things that have been going on. Next ZENcast is March 19th. Again, ZCM anti-malware. We're going to have Darren Vandenbos, a PM for the endpoint security on ZenWorks. He's going to be here, and he's going to show us a little bit of demo and stuff. So excited about that. And I don't see any other questions in chat. I appreciate everybody being here. And again, thank you for the last 4 years. It's been great. We're going to try and do another 4 years, and hopefully this forum is helping you with your products that you have in-house and get you more familiar with them. All right. That's what I have today. I hope to see you in 2 weeks. We'll be viewing the ZENcast out there, the ZENcast for anti-malware on the 19th. All right. Okay, well, thank you, everybody. Stay safe, and we will talk to you in 2 weeks. Cheers.